button, things should happen.
Fingers crossed. Am I centered in my box, by the way? Or do I need to move left or right?
I could probably do that for you.
Wait. Right, we will try this again.
I won't be able to view it though, because I'm gonna let my phone just be an internet box.
Just be a hotspot, yeah, yeah. We're live, we're defo there. We're gonna have to see if
Well,
the mobile data holds out.
yes, this is my thanks to Dorgon and some troubleshooting behind the scenes. I think we're back up and running. Super PlayStation Bros. And Dorgon, you'll have to let me know if anything is not running all right.
I am seeing everything. I've got the stream up, I've got chat up. I love that we're now doing this off mobile data. This is how I started out in content creation. Everything was as bare bones basic as it could be. I didn't have fiber internet. I didn't have any computers or anything. It was a console and my mobile phone's mobile data. So for me, this is a massive throwback, which is great. For you, it's infuriating because you've always had at least a decent internet connection for this. So we're getting there, though. We appear to be live. We've been up for longer than a minute and a half. So fingers crossed it continues that way.
What an episode to have all these outages. The PSN outage is obviously contagious. And this is what I get for being a PlayStation bro. I went down with the outage as well. So did our show. We're that close. We're lock in step. They say when America catches a cold, Canada sneezes. It's the same with us and PlayStation. Super PlayStation Bros are just that lockstep. So that's good. Have you been playing on PS Go? We'll just chit chat here for 2 minutes until people find that we're live again.
In, yeah. I've been playing on PlayStation. There's been a new episode in Destiny 2, so I've started playing that with my DualSense Edge because a first-person shooter with a pro controller is just incredible. Being able to jump, reload, and spin at the same time. It's like, this is the freedom that PC has always had with their mouse and keyboard setups, and I love that I've now got that ability with DualSense Edge on PlayStation in Destiny. So that's been a bit of fun jumping back into. I haven't touched it for months on end since sort of the end of Final Shape, so that feels quite nice to get back into. Played a bit more Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League as well, and I've also jumped back into, when I could, when things weren't totally broken, the Monster Hunter World's beta once more, because that's coming out later this month. We've had a second beta. We're having another one this next coming weekend. And I want to get as much game time in as I can prior to the kickoff, because I need to get back in the flow of monster hunting. But what about yourself, man? I know you've been busy with a house and terrible interwebs, but other than having to switch to your mobile internet, how have you been?
The internet's not been great. I was actually feeling it this morning. Obviously, there was no PSN over the weekend. We had Super Bowl, so I got together, watched some of that. Big blowout by the Philadelphia Eagles. So they took it home. Cool to see. And then I think I fixed chat. Perfect. All right. Thank you, Stream Elements bot. Other than that, I've been getting into the D&D universe. So I actually booted up Baldur's Gate 3 altogether. So that's been a lot of fun. I've been learning the mechanics of D&D, learning how these spells and stuff interact, the dice rolls. So it's been a lot of fun. Been playing with my PlayStation controller. Love the feeling of it. Great game, and I'm starting to learn more why it won Game of the Year. It's really detailed, complex, and it's more of a chill game. I'm not like parrying, dodging, locking on, and fighting. I'm more like experiencing story, role playing, and finding out about lore. So different experience. I'd 100% throw it out. If you're a gamer who always plays one way, change it up, go 100% the other way and see what happens. Maybe you'll find an experience you'll like. This is my third playthrough on the game, which is, I think is crazy for me for a turn-based.
Turn-based is great, especially when it comes with like the potluck of a dice roll as well, especially the potluck of a non-physical dice because they have to code random number generation into it, and RNG always screws me over. So it would make playing a game like Baldur's Gate 3, similar type games like Dragon's Dogma and such fall into that similar category. When you're waiting on random numbers to sort of fulfill how you play the game and your actions depend upon that dice roll, it's a very, very good way of going about things. And it makes life very different, very yeah, different is the best way to put it because it can go from absolute elation all the way down to complete and utter despair. Anybody who's ever had one of those unlucky rolls in a Pokemon game will know the feeling of random number generation off a random chance, and it can really hurt thy soul. But I'm glad you're enjoying it. D&D is such a wonderful universe, and as long as you get fully into playing it as well, especially if you go for the actual tabletop game and just go headlong into it, become your character when you're playing, incredible, incredible experiences.
Yes, Lord Rykard is my character, and I'm a bit. I've got high charisma stats. Let's just say that. All right, let's jump into everything that's going on in PlayStation this week.
I worked really hard on that transition for all of I think it was about 30 seconds. Didn't take me too much longer to change all the
Dude, that
bits
one's.
out.
I gotta get the other one in here too. They're both really nice. Cheers to that. Look at that Dorgon animation team. Um, all right. I heard one of his mirror images had a bit of a smooch. Wait, no, yeah, we were kissing each other. Anyways, free PS Plus extension for all members affected by the PSN outage. Sony will add 5 days of service to your current sub. So what is this all about? Well, recently we had an outage that happened over a PSN on the weekend, worst time of all. People were upset. They were hoping it wasn't going to be another 23, 24 days like experienced in 2011. I saw a lot of different comparisons to that one. But luckily, it was only 18, 19 hours before it became back up and running. So that's what happened, and as a reward, PlayStation gave people a couple days. And did you hear, I read something, I don't have it on here, but did you hear why it happened? Because I read something this morning on the hack, or the
Yeah, so it
attack.
was a security hack, and it was actually Sony and PlayStation that took the whole network down as a security measure. And this is much better than what happened in 2011. I feel like it was longer than 24 days. It felt longer than 24 days in 2011 when PlayStation Network went down. And I got 4 games out of that, 4 free games. So I was very, very happy with the results of that one. This one didn't affect me so much other than hitting at the exact time that the Monster Hunter World's beta is running. And I really wanted to get some time into that, sink my teeth into it and have a bit of a play. They did, however, extend the beta for 24 hours so that I could play it today, which is great. So I've still managed to get some time into that one. But the fact that they were so quick this time to notice that a hack was happening and Sony proactively brought the PlayStation Network down is so much better, infinitely better than what happened in 2011 when a hack was happening. It means that nobody got any personal information, they didn't get any payment details, no one has to go through and change their passkey or passwords or any of that palaver that happened last time there was a big hack on PlayStation. So it's actually a real positive to come out of it that PlayStation security is actually pretty darn good at the moment because they can see when a hack is happening and take the network down to prevent it. There are, of course, big problems that have been highlighted by that action, and one of those is single player games that aren't playable without an internet connection, games full stop that aren't playable without an internet connection, or a verification of your PlayStation Network consoles that you've upgraded to from the next generation not being automatically set as primary and what have you. And one of the big ones, this compensation is great for anybody who's got PlayStation Plus, but the PlayStation Network outage affected people who don't have PlayStation Plus as well. That situation I've just been talking about, where games weren't playable if you weren't on the primary console or connected to the internet, people were still affected by that. And there is no compensation for those guys. There is nothing being offered to those gamers who, say, in areas like the continent of Africa, where internet in a lot of the countries there just doesn't exist, but PlayStation does. They have to buy the discs, put in their drive to play the game. They only ever get the 1.0 version of the game, and they're getting nothing off this because they still couldn't play the game when the PlayStation Network was down. Really weird situation. If you buy a PlayStation 5 Slim and a disc drive and add a disc drive to it, but don't have an internet connection, you can't use the disc drive. You apparently need an internet connection to set the disc drive up, which again, in countries that have really unsteady, like your internet this morning, connections or non-existent connections, isn't going to happen. So a lot of questions about the infrastructure itself, about what Sony are going to do for people affected who didn't have active PlayStation Plus accounts. But from a security perspective and making sure we do not get a repeat of 2011, was glad to see the swift action, and I'd rather they focus on the fixing it than holding our hands through a minor 18-hour outage.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It was minor, although it was on the coldest time of my country, so I would have liked to have PlayStation on the weekend. But hey, they added 5 more days. It's a little bit of something. And hey, they at least have a better way to stop attacks. Like you said, nothing was taken. So all in all, if you're on PlayStation, you're back up and running. And you could have just played a single player. I saw a thread from Phoenix who said, I just booted up No Man's Sky. And I enjoyed some time there. So there was things that you could have done.
No Man's Sky is one of those older games from a period where you didn't need that internet verification for a digital-only title. For example, if you were to take your Spider-Man 2 copy and try and play that whilst the PSN was down, it wouldn't have worked. There were lots of people who just couldn't play Spider-Man 2. There were lots of people who couldn't play Returnal and a bunch of these other single-player games, even if they got the discs, because it needed internet verification or something. So there needs to be a change from PlayStation's infrastructure and setup, because we can't have it where we're purchasing games, even physically, and even though everything is there and able to be run, it can't because there's no internet or something. That needs to change.
Well, we have a big game that I've been looking forward to, which is Metal Gear Solid Delta. I would love to see a brand new Metal Gear, but you get what you get, and you enjoy some of these things when you have them. So Metal Gear Solid definitely resonated with me as a kid. So that was definitely something to look forward to this year, and all of these leaks have given us a date, apparently, which I'm all for. End of August, I think it was August 28th here. So very cool to see. I'm all for it. I wish it came out sooner. But a little strange how it released. I believe it was off of a Spanish website again. The Spanish websites seem to be leaking all of the dates and information once I get into it. Something about embargoes. Maybe they choose not to understand. I don't know what it is, but that's cool. It's not yet been confirmed by Konami, but MGS3 is definitely coming soon.
You're a little behind the times on that one, my friend, and it might have something to do with your internet performance this morning. We have
Oh no.
subsequently got an actual trailer for it. I only saw it via IGN. It is still live before we came live. It is confirming that 28th of August date, so that is locked in. That's when we're getting Metal Gear Solid Delta. It looks incredible. It looks one of those, it looks like you remember it, which is a huge compliment to games from that sort of PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1 era. So that is fantastic to see that that's coming. The leak was actually from the PlayStation Store of all places. It just went up and said, hey, here is the release date, pre-order now. So that would say that this is a store page that is meant to go up later this week after we get the state of play. I imagine that the trailer is going to be within the state of play. But yeah, as of Thursday last week, it's all been confirmed with a trailer that went up on IGN and looked incredible. Said it was coming on the 28th of August. Life is good. We're getting Metal Gear Solid later this year. And the only way we're getting good Metal Gear Solid is if we get the remakes. We are not getting new stuff because the last new one they did, Metal Gear Survive, the less said about that, the better for everybody involved.
Really, it didn't hit well. I haven't played. Honestly, I haven't played one. I played 1, 2, and 3, so I never got into the newer ones. I just never came across my like. I know there was one where he was older. There was one where Kiefer Sutherland was the voice. I just you're saying those aren't good parts of the Metal Gear Solid
Oh no,
franchise?
they're
Is there
incredible.
any of those?
Metal Gear
Yeah.
Solid 4 is absolutely incredible. The problem with MGS4 is it's locked on the PlayStation 3. It was a PlayStation 3 exclusive title, and because of the architecture of the PlayStation 3 with that cell processor, it is locked on there. It's not yet come forward, but we have had the Metal Gear Solid Collection Part 1 recently that had MGS, had Metal Gear, Metal Gear 2, Metal Gear Solid, and so on and so forth through to MGS3 in HD remasters. If they do a part 2, MGS4 is going to be part of that, and we will get it on current gen consoles, which will be a massive thing. It'll be the first time Xbox players get to play it, first time PC players get to play it. Anybody outside of the PlayStation 3 will get to play it. I think that's going to be a very good thing. I love Metal Gear Solid 4, such a good game. That is the old Snake, and it is explained why he's old in that. And if you're going to play it, I'm not going to spoil it for you because these are experiences that you must have. Kiefer Sutherland came in for Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes and 5. 5 was unfinished because Konami threw Kojima-san out before he finished it. They will tell you it's finished. It's completely unfinished. Anybody who's played the game could tell you it's half a game. It's completely unfinished, and we've got cutscenes in there that we know there's meant to be more to, sort of thing. But yeah, we're going to get that one. Probably have Peace Walker in there and the other PSP titles, Portable Ops and the digital comics and such. So part 2 will put all these in other people's hands. The problem is the one that they did after they got rid of Kojima was set in an alternate reality and called Metal Gear